Welcome to Cashing in the Northwest. You know, this is the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Each week, we're going to talk about caches and cachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're all living the life of an introvert, we may be caching in the Northwest.
That's right. Welcome to spring. You know, the vernal equinox happened officially just 10 minutes ago, according to space.com. It's the earliest spring in 124 years. So here we are. And of course, that means that it's time to bring in our extroverted orangutan. Some say he is what Waldo would look like if no one ever found him. And others say he causes society to experience anxiety. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Such honors to have to live up to, but I think I can handle it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you
Dave.
survived winter. Welcome.
Yeah, it is the perfect time, given everything going on, for us to be podcasting together. For me to be able to get some social interaction with two of my best friends and another best friend who's joining us tonight, Rock Chalk. Good to see you tonight, buddy.
Always good to see you guys.
And really good to see us at a distance. So.
Yes, this is the perfect way to have this conversation.
Awesome. Well, you are definitely a special return guest. I'm not even sure how many times you've been on the show, but you're definitely our go-to guy.
It feels like you ought to know how many times, but
You would think. I think we owe you a blazer or something. Yeah.
Isn't there like on Saturday Night Live where there's like the 5 Timers Club or whatever, and you got a special vest or something, a coat to wear? It seems like there should be something like that.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get you a bandana.
It sounds like I've got
bandana. That was a pretty huge drop we just had there from a blazer to a bandana.
Welcome to Cashing in the Northwest.
Just now I understand what I'm in for tonight. Just lower the bar.
That's right. There is no bar.
There's no bar. We've gone from having a low bar to no bar. Okay.
The bars are all closed until
now I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, hey, while we're having some fun here, and definitely glad to have Rock Chalk joining us. I also want to remind folks that we're happy to have all of you guys joining us tonight. And a quick reminder that we also appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. And a thanks to Landsharks, our corporate Denali sponsor. Now, keep in mind, Landsharks is still open for online orders and they are shipping daily. Now is a great time for cache maintenance. So please keep their small business in mind for all your geocaching supply needs. Folks, if you want to know more about supporting the show, click the Patreon link on thecachingnw.com, a website.
Ah, yes, the land sharks. They're fabulous. But what else is something we like? That was a terrible sentence. Let me do something.
Fabulous. Marvelous.
Yeah. You know, I have been so socially distanced. I haven't talked to people, so I don't know how to use my words anymore. But that's people like me at a distance. One thing we like is a glow. What is a glow, you may ask? It's a geocaching log of the week. Whether you wrote it or whether you read it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. You can send an email. You could set a field recording. Just pop open the recorder there on your phone, record something, email that to feedback@cashingnw.com. You can call into 253-693-TFTC or use the voicemail tool on the website. That was 4 things I just listed. Wow. And show us how you glow.
Whew, 4 things flew by and blurred. You're so fast. This week's glow was contributed from Bounce. We thank you for the contribution. I think it's on one of his caches here.
It certainly is.
Holiday Travel Bug Hotel. That's GC5DHPQ. And it's logged by Avro Air. Let's see. I think I have a glow thing here. Look at that. You can get this little glow badge.
Ooh, classy.
Hey. This log reads, sometimes I get inspired to reach out of my norm. I wanted to kick off the geocaching creative carnival with a fun cache. So I stopped by and got my usual large coffee. I was looking for a city with a creative center, an artistic flair, and with a civic arts hub. I found myself in Kent. Anyways, this Bounce cache was on my agenda. A park and grab. Took me longer than expected to get there, and as I pulled up, I Thought about grabbing this cash and then heading to the bathroom. Relevant side note, 2 things I don't judge quite well. I'm a bit ambitious with the time I think it takes to find a cache, and my bladder works faster when I'm caching. Got to ground zero, locked. Great, I can do this. Easy. Took me 8 tries to get the correct code. Lock doesn't work upside down, apparently. Now I really need to pee. But I'm done, right? Nope. Inside the locker is a taunting note. To log the cache, sign the logbook that is conveniently safe behind another lock. Oh, and a pile of keys. I panic. Do I forge ahead, pee behind a tree, or finish the cache? Option 3. My hands are shaking as I try each key. After 42 minutes, probably seconds, success! Sign log and I'm out of here. I scan the parking lot for a potential bathroom. A Vietnamese pho shop? No. Taste of El Salvador? Nope. The Mexican Palace? Nope. Rite Aid? Bargain grocery store? Let's do it. Parked 8 miles away and trudge in to find the bathroom. Only for customers. Okay, I'll buy something. Cold brew coffee. Oh, wait, I have a homemade version of that in the car. In my uncanny pickiness, I settle on a 99-cent bottle of thyme herbs. Cheap, needed, and a bargain. And of course, ironic for the situation of which I am now beginning to cramp. I need to pee so badly. I get to the cash register, 4 people back. Now I need to brace myself against the checkout counter. A little too much, since when the belt moves, I almost fall ass over teacup. I hand $1 over and ask for the bathroom code. Sorry, people keep abusing the bathroom, so it's closed. What? I'm about to abuse the front of the store, grab my herbs and limp out, hit the Rite Aid. Under duress, I'm not buying anything. Head straight back to the clerk to get the code. My relief was instant and lasted 4 minutes at least. Now I skip off across the parking lot to find the other cashier. I'd post photos, but there are too many.
Wow,
Haven't we all been there?
It's quite the experience.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Well, thank you, Avro Air, for sharing your intimate details of your experience, and Bounce for sending it in.
I think we all need a good laugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good laughs are good to have.
That's right. Hey, folks, if you want to add to tonight's topic, you can use the hashtag first right there in the chat. Toss that in there, and we will, our chat lackey will go through and make sure your comments are in the show notes. And of course, you know, we love you. We want you to stay around for the after show. And if you want to bring something up there, use the hashtag FATAS for that.
Indeed. Let's do that.
Indubitably.
Hey, you know what? We've got some news to share with you guys before we get into the details. And Rock Chalk, any thoughts you have on any of this news? Feel free to jump in at any time and just share your thoughts and opinions. We love hearing from you.
Will do.
All right, got a thumbs up. All right, we're doing well here. All right, so we'll start off with our usual GeoWoodstock news, which is our Giga countdown. We are 191 will attends away from Giga, so that's awesome that we're continuing to get will attends even this week. So thank you guys, that's fantastic, and we're appreciative that people are still making their late summer plans, even this time of year. All right. Hey, also with GeoWoodstock, watch our social media this weekend. We've got some great announcements coming out regarding the side events for GeoWoodstock 18. So, you know, the planning is still going on. We have to plan as if things are still going to happen until we hear otherwise. So, moving along with that. Also, there's some new event sponsors. Thank you to Bradley Travels and Tours and the City of Richmond Geo Tour. A huge thank you to both, and check them out at GeoWoodstock.com.
All right. Looking forward to all of that happening in August. And some other stuff happening too. But right now, let's talk about the hidden worlds of national parks.
Ooh.
Would you like to take a virtual tour through 5 of the U.S. national parks? Google lets you do that. You can see sites rarely encountered by the majority of the public visitors. Each of these virtual tours is guided by a local U.S. park ranger for that specific park, and gives you some amazing insights and learning, as well as enjoying the best of the variety that park has to offer. These parks are the Kenai Fjords in Alaska, Hawaiian volcanoes, and of course Hawaii. New Mexico has Carlsbad Caverns, Utah Bryce Canyon, and Florida's Dry Tortugas. So
And
go
we'll
check
put
those out.
Yeah, we'll
I think
put
I
the
had dry tortugas for lunch one day.
You know, I had never heard of the Dry Tortugas Park, and it's listed as like one of the least known U.S. national parks.
I'm not sure I've heard of it either.
I can understand why.
I tried out this Google virtual tour, Hidden Worlds of National Parks tour, and I tried it out for the Dry Tortugas just to test it, see what it was like. And it's a fascinating park in Florida. So
For some reason, my brain says Tortugas translates to turtles or tortoises.
turtles.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe it's
Okay.
turtles. Yeah,
Okay.
tortoises. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a fascinating park. So it's now on my bucket list of a place to go. So there you go.
It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's an apparently amazing spot for scuba.
Yes,
As the
and
forest
part
goes.
of this virtual tour, they actually take you scuba with them under the water, doing a virtual.
I'm gonna have to check that out. It's probably the only way I'll ever get there.
Yeah, so I've just posted the link into the chat. So if you guys want to check that out later, you got it. All right. Next up, there is a story that the entrance fees are suspended indefinitely at parks that remain open for the U.S. national parks. I don't know about Canadian national parks. I haven't heard anything. All I know for sure about Canadian national parks is that all of their offices and interpretive centers are closed, but which makes sense. But the story reads, as former Park Service Director John Jarvis told Mashable on Monday, it's critical to keep the parks open right now to provide us the open space we need to escape increasingly necessary but severe social distancing guidance. Which, no, not escaping the guidance. This sentence doesn't make sense to me. Anyways.
Well, it is they're almost
that made absolutely
We
no
need to do that too, right? We need
Yes.
too much guidance.
Too much guidance. Everybody, stop telling me what to
Get
do.
away from the guidance, go to the parks.
I'm going to the park. Stop telling me what to do. All right. But yes, the social distancing guidance, which we need to be adhering to inside our communities, but when we've got much more open space in the national parks, and that's the point.
There you go.
So yeah.
And to throw out just one more nugget of confusion, I'm just going to put it on the record that I don't like the term social distancing.
Okay.
I think we all need to be socially connected. I can accept that we need to be physically distant during this contagion and all, but let's be socially connected, shall we?
Yes. Yeah.
I just don't like the term.
It's a bit of an odd term. I'll give you that for sure.
It's not good for a man to be alone.
No man is an island. All right.
Oh, but introverts like to be.
Yes. All right. Moving on.
So one more news bit about the national parks is they are closing their visitor center. Right? That's where the people tend to congregate.
Yes.
But if the parks are open, you can still go visit the trails and wander and see the beautiful things, but the visitor centers will be closed. And there's a phrase here that I absolutely love. Getting out into wilderness is perfect for what we call the shack nasties. I don't think I've ever heard that term before. That's being cooped up inside your home. So if you need to combat the shack nasties, hit a national park.
Before you hit somebody in your family.
I've never heard that term before.
I don't know, but apparently you've driven away the monkey.
I've driven away the land monkey.
Okay.
This is interesting.
Well,
Okay.
then you talk about BC Search and Rescue then.
Okay. So BC Search and Rescue recently shared how to safely and responsibly enjoy the outdoors during this COVID-19 pandemic. It's okay to go in the outdoors, but get home safe. Go with someone else, but keep your group small, maybe just family members, to ensure that physical distancing that we tend like so much. But most importantly, tell somebody where you are, where you're going, and when you're going to be back. And stick to the familiar and safe trails. Because, the search and rescue can't be distance from you when they're looking for you. So think of other people.
Yeah. And, another thing to keep in mind is to plan extra time to get back with plenty of daylight. We just had today's the vernal equinox. That means equal night. But really, it's not. the days are getting longer, but there's still a lot of dark this time of year. So, make sure that wherever you're going, you plan enough time that you can get back while it's still daylight. That's super important. There's also plenty of snow on the ground in a lot of places still. It may have just officially turned spring, but there's still some snow out there and some cold climates out there, especially get to altitude. And of course, if you get lost or in trouble or hurt, call 911, but also let the operator know if you believe you may have been exposed to COVID-19 so that search and rescue personnel can ensure they're protected as well.
There you go. Absolutely. And Adventure Smart, our good friends at Adventure Smart, also remind us to, as Chris has already said, leave a trip plan. Hey, if you're in Canada, use the app. Make sure you have the appropriate training for whatever you're doing and take the essentials, the 3 T's. But another thing to keep in mind, this is, I think, is a really, really important point that I want to drill home, and I really want people to think about. This is not the time to take any risks. Absolutely. Get outdoors. Go enjoy yourselves. Hey, do you love extreme sports? Fantastic. Don't do them right now. It's essential that we don't use up hospital resources that are needed for COVID-19. Don't go off trails. Don't take any unnecessary risks right now. Think of others in the community first. The end. That's my lecture for tonight.
Right. Well, I was going to go out and take up a whole bunch of new extreme sports this week, but I'm not now. So thanks.
Don't you even, mister.
Isn't going outside in extreme sport right now?
Rockchuck, you're an extreme sports kind of guy. You gonna tone it down for a few weeks?
I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. I think that's really, really good guidance for all of us. And I mean, I've even thought about it with, I try to get out on a bike every day and get some exercise. And I've even thought, I've never been one to, go crazy down hills or, try to get up as fast as I can. But even so, just trying to be even more mindful of being safe. And because, the folks that are working in hospitals right now and in doctors' offices and whatever, I mean, they're on the front lines of this whole thing and will be for a while, it sounds like. They've got enough on their plate. And I think the more all of us can do to try to lessen that burden on them, the better off we're all going to be.
Well said, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Or as UDAC says, don't be a hospital hog.
There you go.
Exactly. A hospital hog. Never heard that term before, but it completely makes sense right now.
Sounds like an anonymous Google Doc user.
Hospital hog.
Yeah.
Oh, they come up with some good ones. Hey, tonight's topic. I know. Can you believe we have a topic? We're almost 20 minutes into this podcast and we're getting to the topic.
Keep us on track.
Putting the community first. And Rock Chalk, you're here to talk about a great blog post from HQ on exactly that. And welcome back. Your bandana I'll put in the mail next week.
I appreciate that. I guess it'll more be like maybe the 100th show I'll get that blazer. But
maybe a used blazer. A vintage blazer.
I would expect no less from you guys. But
1972 Chevy Blazer.
No, but it's always fun to be back with you guys, and certainly send my best to everybody in the chat room as well, and wish everybody not just good physical health but good mental health. As we all try to get through this whole thing, but it's always fun to take a few minutes out and. There's been so much bleak news that it's nice just to be able to talk geocaching. And I know we'll be covering some sobering topics tonight, but I imagine we'll have some lightheartedness along the way too. So looking forward to it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here and to be talking about this stuff. And absolutely to, as well, as you said, to our live audience, everybody who's watching tonight. Hey, hello. Hope you're all doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Glad you're at home watching the podcast. And regardless of where you are, just take care and have an hour or two here with us to just enjoy yourself. And let's have a good chat around the virtual kitchen table here. All right. So, Chris, the first question on my mind is, how is the team at HQ handling things for the past couple of weeks? Our lackey friends, we're concerned for them too. And we're curious how you guys are keeping the lights on for the rest of us around the world who love to get outside and go play this game.
Well, we're fortunate that a lot of what we do can be done remotely. And so starting, I think it was March 4th, was when our senior management team and Brian decided that it was time to strongly encourage everyone to work from home if their job allowed it, and only come into the office if there was a critical business need for them to do so. And so really everybody, that's what we've been doing. You know, we started that day. It's, I think, pretty rare now that anybody's at the office. We're all having our meetings online and using our Slack chat tool to keep in touch with each other throughout the day. And I think, like a lot of businesses out there who are facing this, we're trying to find ways to not just get our work done, which is the most important thing, but also to to stay connected with each other. So we've had a virtual lunchroom, I think using Google Hangouts, where people would just drop in virtually and chat at lunchtime, which was it's funny. To me anyway, that how much I enjoyed that. I don't think I had realized how much I was missing, seeing everybody at lunchtime. And so it was nice to do something like that. I think there's even a virtual yoga class that's being held every so often. And so we're trying to find ways to stay connected with each other. But certainly getting our work done and projects moving forward, and teams are adapting and will continue to do so. So that's kind of been the way it's been at HQ and at I guess our virtual HQ over the last couple of weeks.
That's awesome. You've just provided some great ideas that I'm going to try and try to apply at my workplace as well as we start to virtualize. That's brilliant. You guys are doing some great stuff there. Thank you.
Well, we're lucky to have Maria McDonald, who is our learning and development coordinator, and she also is kind of in charge of just the office in general, and has been for a number of years. And Maria's been at the company just a little longer than I have been, so she's well tenured and does a really great job of. Part of her job in normal times is to just look for learning opportunities and help lackeys develop skills that they want to try to develop. And in this time, she's not just doing that, but also just trying to find ways to help us be more efficient and to help us do our jobs well. And so she's out there, as I'm sure you guys have seen, it's all over the internet. You can find different suggestions and ideas from people, and that's kind of what she's doing, is trying to harness some of that information that's out there and trying to find things that will be applicable specifically to our company and the way that we try to do things. So it's been really valuable, and I'm sure she'll keep coming up with some good ideas and some fun ideas as well.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that with a group of friends of mine too. So great ideas, and love to share all that.
Mm-hmm.
So now, on the assumption that the blog post was prompted by communication that HQ was getting from geocachers, can you share some of the things that geocachers were mostly asking you guys about?
Well, in the immediate, it was mostly about events and getting questions, from mega event organizers and things of that nature. I will say that, the geocaching community in general, and this is not unexpected at all, has been extremely patient and understanding about things. And we just have such a great community, don't we? I mean, just this game, it's just such a special community, and everybody looks out for each other. And So most of the questions have just been about that. What can we do to play this game safely, and what should we do with events, and questions like that. So I think the first thing we did was we wanted to post something on event pages, and so we posted an announcement, a log on all the active events and CEDOs and community celebration events, and kind of laid out some things, but then realized that not everybody would see that, if you hadn't logged an event or what have you, or if you didn't go to event pages. So I remember I was riding my bike one night, and I was thinking, after we had done the announcement logs, and I thought, we really need to do a little more than this. And I came back home and I checked my email, and Brigitte from our marketing team had sent me an email with an idea for a blog post. And it was the beginnings of what we posted, that the Community First blog. And Brigitte said, "Oh, I was thinking about this," and I replied back to her and said, "I'm so glad you sent me that email, because I was thinking the same thing." And so that's kind of where that came from, was just trying to tell people what we could tell them. I think that's the biggest takeaway I've had from this whole thing, is that nobody knows the right or exactly right way to do anything. We're all kind of making it up as we go along, and I think for us, the best thing we can do is just, when we know something, try to share it. And if we don't know something, say that we don't know. And that's why a lot of the time the best answer we can give if somebody asks a question is, you really need to consult your local health authorities and ask them. We know what we are, and we know what we're not, and what we're not is health authorities. So we've tried to share as much information as we can, and then we know that the folks in the community will go to the proper people to get the guidance that they need on the other stuff.
Nice. I mean, it's a difficult time for all of us. I mean, this is unprecedented in what we're going through.
Yeah.
You mentioned events, and is there any specific advice that HQ is providing to event hosts?
Well, what we said in the blog is that, again, that we strongly encourage cachers to look for guidance from their public health authorities to decide whether to go ahead with an event or a CEDO and things like that. And so we're seeing any number of approaches. But and part of the reason why we have to be kind of vague like that is that this game's played all over the world, and we can't, and this thing is impacting people in different ways all over the world. And so what we tell somebody in the Northwest might be very different than what, if you were given specific advice, you might tell somebody in the Northwest today something very different than you would tell somebody in Fiji or Australia or what have you. So it's not, that we're trying to pass the buck or anything, or that we don't want to give an answer. It's just that this thing is, as you guys all know, as everybody knows, this thing's changing by the day and by the minute. So the best advice we can give is that I think what we've generally told people to this point is that we leave it to event hosts to decide if they're going to move forward with something. We leave it to the participants to decide if they're going to participate, and then for the reviewers to make decisions in accordance with guidance from their local health authorities. Reviewers might decide that the best thing to do in their area is to archive events or retract events or disable events or what have you. And we ask for people to be understanding about that. And to this point, again, not unexpectedly, I think the community's been very understanding about that. And everybody's doing the best they can.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well said.
Yeah, very well said. And there's been a lot of feedback in the chat here. I've seen people very supportive of the approach that geocaching.com Groundspeak has taken around the situation, and putting geocachers first as people, which is awesome. Talking about events. So one of the things that's come up is It's like the question of are all events created equal? Can some events be treated a little bit differently? I've seen a few questions come up around CETOs versus a meet and greet. So, meet and greet in a coffee shop, obviously we understand the impacts there. But a CETO, if everybody's going to spread out and go pick up garbage and things like that. So from HQ's perspective, is the message just that you're treating this message that you just shared with us equally for all event types? Is that the approach?
Yes, I think that would be the official approach. I think if you were asking me personally, how do I look at it? I might say, well, I could see a CETO being, if you're not really gathered together, you're walking out on trails by yourself, picking up, everybody spreads out to pick up trash or what have you, then maybe that can meet your local authorities' guidance for social distancing or whatever Wits End wants to call it. Physical distancing.
I'm always a troublemaker, aren't I?
Is that the term we agreed on, was physical?
Sure.
Physical distancing, I think
we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think from HQ standpoint, again, we're not health authorities, so we would say check with your local health authorities and make that call for yourself, and not just the host, but again the participants as well. We all have that responsibility to decide for ourselves what we're comfortable with, and I've certainly, again, speaking for myself, I've seen a couple CETOs on the calendar. I've seen events on the calendar, and I personally look at events and tend to say, you know what, I just don't know that I feel comfortable with that. But maybe a CETO, maybe, but even that, I just, again, just for me personally, I tend to think, well, it sounds like the best thing to do is not to be around other folks, and it's not really a necessity for me to do a CETO this Saturday, right? So,
Sure.
But again, that's speaking for myself, and I,
well, RockShock, speaking of the question of necessity of getting out and doing a CETO, one of the questions that came up from our chat lackey as well, and I know you may not know the answer to this one, but I'm just going to ask it. Will the spring CETO season, so the period of time that you can earn your CETO souvenir, will that be extended?
I know there's been discussion about it. I checked in on that after I saw that question was out there, and I will give a tip of the hat, if I was wearing one, to Frau Potter, who a lot of you know, Cindy Potter, who's the director of community at HQ. And I sent her a message, and I said, I hope you don't get this, because I hope you're not paying attention to messages right now at 9:00 Pacific time. But if you are, what do you know about the possibility of extending the CETO? And of course, 1 minute later, she responded and said that they have had a little bit of discussion about it on the community engagement team, which is the team that oversees the CETO initiative, and they're watching it right now, and it's possible that it could be extended, but no decisions have been made at this time about that.
Okay,
fair enough.
Now we're trying to minimize large groups, of course, and minimize, keep our distance and all. What about megas and gigas? That's a lot of people in a place. Any idea how many of those are currently affected by all these new restrictions and cancellations?
It's my understanding that as of yesterday or the day before, that 9 mega organizing committees had contacted HQ and initiated the process of trying to reschedule their events. So I would expect that will continue to grow. I think everybody understandably is trying to wait as long as they can to, worst case cancel, but or even to reschedule. You want to try to put it off as long as you can before you have to make huge changes that affect everybody's travel plans and what have you.
Yeah.
But and again, like we said before, this thing is changing so rapidly and so often that. But I have a feeling that number will grow a little bit. But the last I heard, it was 9 that had started that process.
Wow. So I'll just toss this out there. Y'all can use this for your next event coming up. Is we just meet in a parking lot. Now, Team Noltec's kind of, established have an event in a parking lot. Everybody stay in their car and we'll just conference call. Right. So there's your event. You're socially distant, but yet you're all together.
There you go.
Sounds like a workaround. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Something, yeah.
Or somebody drops all the CETO equipment in the middle of the parking lot, goes away, and everybody one at a time, they come in and they pick up their stuff and they go off and do the CETO.
Sounds a little too much like Hunger Games.
There you go.
Well, tis
Well,
the
and
season.
it may not fall into the regulations for CETOs here, but Forrest goes in the chat, says maybe we could do a locationless CETO and everybody cleans up their own house. So,
I like it.
Funny.
Rock Chalk, has there been an official position from HQ regarding just going out to do normal geocaching, not necessarily an event, but geocaching in and of itself?
Well, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the basic thing we tell people is to follow the guidance from the public health authorities about how or if you're going to participate in activities in general, but certainly in geocaching. And I've personally seen a wide range of takes on that. I saw an article, I think, in the Idaho Statesman today with somebody who said they thought getting out on trails and doing stuff like that was a great idea, as long as you kept reasonable distance from people. Of course, other people have brought up the very real issue of this virus being able to live on surfaces for days at a time, and so folks are carrying sanitizer and wipes and things of that nature. I've yet to hear the CDC comment directly on geocaching, right? So it's one of those things where, again, not wanting to pass the buck, but saying, check out the guidance and make that call for yourself. And then going back to speaking for myself personally, I've gone out geocaching. I've checked out some adventure labs in the area. That seems to be a particularly good option at this time, whether it's virtuals or earth caches or adventure labs or things like that. But have found a few physicals and I've been particularly careful. I've tried to use hand sanitizer and not touch my face and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's a decision all of us have to make for ourselves.
I think, like you said, it's you've got to go by your whatever your regional health officials health office is saying. And what I was just about to comment on, I see Helen has commented on in the show notes here, so I'll bring up her comment instead of saying it myself, which is Dr. Bonnie Henry, which is our provincial health officer in BC, today said to get outside, go for walks in the parks, go on the beach, go for bike rides, just keep your social distancing or your physical distancing. And but that's British Columbia. That's the advice in British Columbia. And your advice is going to vary by your region and by what's going on in your region. It's a very regionally diverse situation. So I think Rock Chalk, the advice you've given is, from geocaching's perspective, it's the best advice that can be given. Like you guys, as you said, the situation is going to be so dynamic depending where people are. You can't give didactic instructions. It's got to be pay attention to what's going on in your area. Do the best thing for you.
Well said.
Yeah. Well said. Both of you well said. And on the long list of things that I've learned in the past, week, two, whatever, I had no idea how hard it was to not touch your own face.
No, my goodness. I need a cone like a dog.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if you guys are like this, but as I'm watching television shows or movies, I'm finding myself going, "Oh my God, that person just keeps. Why do they keep touching their face? Just need to." I'm watching a movie from like the '80s, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what are they doing? Stop touching your face!"
Well, and I'm watching
some of licked his hand. Oh my gosh!
I'm watching some of the press conferences when they're telling you not to touch their face, and one of the presenters wiped his nose and pushed the hanky in his pocket, and then somebody else touching their face.
It's a very hard thing to stop doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you try, at least if you're conscious about it, you'll reduce the amount. And
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is to just wash your hands all the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, follow all the 5 tips that are being shared out, and just do the best you can. We'll get through this, guys. We'll all get through this.
Yep.
Hey,
I wonder how our society is going to change. Our handshake's going to be done after this. Is it now just the fist bump and elbow tap?
I think we should all just go to head nods and go, hey. I'm good with that.
Takes me back to junior high school.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've been looking for an excuse not to shake your guys' hands for a long time. So
it's done.
This actually works out really well for me.
Yeah.
So hugs are right out then, I guess.
No wonder you've been on the podcast so much.
Yeah,
that's correct. Jay will say, "Do you want to hang out sometime?" I'll say, "Can we just do a podcast?"
Yeah.
Instead.
Can I just look at you on some screen somewhere, socially distant from you?
There you go. And
I can't even hang out with we can't even hang out with you anymore, Jay. Now, I mean,
I know
we're locked out.
Yeah,
you guys can't even come up here. I can't come down there. This too shall pass. We'll get through it, and we got lots of hikes to do together yet. Dora Moore shares she doesn't use handshakes. She's sticking with jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
There you go.
Oh, Vulcan salute is the best.
That's the one I've adopted. That's been good.
Nice. All right. Also, so switching gears a little bit, Chris, Rock Chalk Chris. So we had seen some advertisements about memory lane. We saw a countdown clock and everything, but now the countdown clock's been extended. It's just like watching a SpaceX launch. How much can you share about memory lane and the date extension?
Well, let's hope that the date's more reliable than a launch, than a SpaceX launch. But yeah, we knew that's something that people would want to know about, so we included that in that Community First blog post. And originally, we were going to get started on April 6th. We've moved that out to May 4th for now, and we will, like everybody else, keep monitoring the guidance that we're seeing and feedback from the community as we get closer to May. When this first started, when discussion really started getting more advanced about this, originally we thought, well, maybe we keep it where it is because people will still want something, people want things to do, and maybe we make some alterations so that, I will tell you events were part of it in some way. And we thought, well, maybe we make that less of a part of it. But then the more we discussed it, we just thought that, again, the way this thing is impacting different parts of the world in different ways, that some folks that just can't even go outside right now and are strongly encouraged not to leave their houses, it just wouldn't be right to do something like this. And as we know, a lot of us, and I'm one of these folks, is when there's a promotion like that, I want to try to get all the souvenirs, and it's going to feel bad if I'm not able to do it. And we want people to be able to participate in this thing. So that's why we decided to just go ahead and delay it, and we'll just watch and see how things are going. We want this to be as inclusive for people as possible and for as many people as possible. We don't want it to just be that, some people over here can take part, but these people over here can't. And so we'll see. We'll play it by ear and just ask folks to be patient, and we'll try to make the best decision we can with the information that we have as we get closer to May.
That's pretty fair.
I think that's more than fair. Yeah, that's great. Taking everybody's, all these considerations in. It's really the best you can do. So you've shared a lot, and we've covered a lot, and maybe you've shared some things multiple times because we keep asking questions that have the same answer. But if geocachers have maybe more intelligent questions than I came up with about events, geocaching nowadays, is there a place that you'd like them to direct their questions to?
Well, I would tell folks to first, if you haven't read the that Community First blog post, there's some information there. So if you go to blog.geocaching.com and read that. And that may answer your questions. But if you have a question that you don't see answered there, you can send an email to contact@geocaching.com or go to our help center and fill out the contact form there. And that will be directed to our community engagement team. And those folks, like I said, we're all working from home. So they're answering hundreds of emails every day, just like they did when they were in the office. And they will try to get back to you.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Thank
you guys are awesome. I've had zero problem getting a hold of any of the folks from HQ that I've been dealing with on a variety of different topics lately. All of you guys have been super responsive. So definitely it's like there's been no bump in the customer service experience with the game and with the work you guys do. So kudos to all of you for really making it so transparent for all of us who enjoy playing this game.
Well, I appreciate that, and again, there's a lot of folks at HQ who work really hard, and I mentioned the community engagement team, but everybody, everybody's doing their jobs right now and working hard on projects. I mean, certainly some of this communication stuff is kind of front and center right now, but there's still a lot of stuff in the hopper, and that stuff doesn't just stop. So so people are working hard and trying to have fun and have been really, honestly, we've been sharing a lot of stories too amongst each other and in our Slack, our community Slack channels about things we're seeing in the community and just some of the neat stories that we're seeing people share. I don't know if you guys have seen the video that was produced over in Italy. Some Italian geocachers put together just a beautiful video about their situation, and I think we're going to be sharing it maybe as soon as tomorrow. So you might watch the blog again, but
Nice.
but it's just so neat. We just have such a great community, and I think we know that all the time, but it's really brought into focus in a difficult time like this, how awesome the people are in the geocaching community and how they look out for each other. And even when maybe it's not possible to go out and find geocachers or go to events or things like that, people still find ways to connect, and will certainly continue to do so, I think.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, we had come up much earlier in the chat, but Dora Moore shared that she was feeling stressed. There we go. She was feeling stressed this morning, and a friend invited her to go geocaching. Her friend lives 3,000 kilometers from here, so they had the perfect physical distancing. They visited each other's caches via video chat. So
that's neat.
So there you go. It's an innovative way to still be connected and still get out and enjoy nature, do some forest bathing, some geocaching, and do your thing. So, Rock Chalk, thank you again for joining us tonight. Keep well.
Yes.
And we look forward to being able to see you in person again soon, and we will respect your desire to not shake hands. So.
Go full on bear hug.
Well, as I said, it's always a lot of fun to talk geocaching with you guys, and especially to have a break from some of the news that we're all swimming in right now, and certainly wish all the best to you guys, and all the best to everybody in the chat as we work our way through this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, Rock Chalk, hang out with us for a little bit longer if you don't mind. We'll do some after show, and then we'll wrap it up for the night. All right. But before we do that, I want to take a moment to thank Landsharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. They ship online orders daily. And we also want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters. That includes Landsharks, JP's Geo Designs, Limax, Team Squirrel, and Groovy Owl. If you want to know more about supporting the show, click the Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website.
Just like Fairwood West did.
And Keats 94.
Sprouter.
Trek Zero.
Oh, now I'm confused.
Yeah.
Somebody messed this up.
Somebody didn't prep right.
All right.
Okay, I'll go with Team Noltex.
Okay.
MC3 Cats.
The Geo Travelers.
GSM times 2.
Log Work.
Dune Buddy.
Kid Vegas 19.
T. Sayer.
Kennel Barb.
Seabeck Tribe.
Broncos Fan for Life.
Al Robrick.
Camp Clan.
Tick Magnet.
The GeoNav Pros.
Billy Robson.
Evan Nerf.
Dora Moore.
LG 9000.
Wino Seattle.
B Pendragon.
Ackerdoc.
Subway Mark.
Kev MacD. Happy birthday, Kev MacD.
Yes, happy birthday. And Boomer 365.
Antaeus.
Wet Coaster and Greenwords.
Genies.
Sege Hove.
CRS 98.
Kitty Quest.
And Highland Sky.
Thank you to all of you for your support.
Thanks to everybody. Yes, we appreciate everybody. So let's see. One last time before we head to the close and the after show. Where can people find any of us on the interwebs? Rockchalk, is there a place that you'd like people to follow you, contact you, or just not contact you at all?
I think at GeoRockChalk on Instagram is probably the best place to follow me. I will occasionally try to post some geocaching adventure photos on there.
And I can vouch for that. There's some good content there. Good job.
Absolutely. It's my favorite place to stalk him.
I'm glad to hear that. If you would have said, like, it's your second favorite place and like my front door is your first favorite, I would have. I'm glad to hear that it ranks the Instagram ranks first.
And Mrs. Rockshot contributes to Instagram very well too.
Yes, she does. She is fantastic.
She's much better than Rock Chalk is.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any argument from anyone on that, Jay.
All right. How about you, Land Monkey?
Well, for me, it's at LandMonkeyGC, and that's Instagram, Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. And of course, YouTube. We've got the YouTube channel. Just search for LANMONKEY, Land Monkey on YouTube, and you can find us there. Wits End, my friend. How about you?
Yeah, I never post anything. I just lurk and look at all the pictures that Mrs. Rockchuck posts, and you too. But if you did want to reach out and drop me a message, I'm at Wits End on Facebook, Twitter, geocaching.com. There's a message center there. Instagram too. So, Chris of the Northwest.
I'm practicing social media distancing.
Okay.
I'm not following anyone anymore.
Okay.
If you want to follow me, that's completely different. Just look for Caching NW. Maybe you have to spell out Caching in the Northwest, but you know what? You know what's easier is to go over to cachingnw.com/hosts. There you're going to find all those links, right? Yep. You don't have to spend the time writing these down while you're driving, going over 3 or 4 lanes on an empty highway.
Please don't write them down while you're driving.
Yeah. But you can read our bios, find all that contact information and some secret links we don't tell you about.
Ooh, secrets.
Yeah.
But
most of all, we want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget that you can be part of the show. Call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or email us toilet paper any time of the day or night. Of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Your support helps keep quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and so many more that I just don't have the breath for. You know what would be really nice if he gives us a thumbs up or a review. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2020 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I urge you, I plead with you to listen to
The After Show.
The After Show.
The After Show. We're in the After Show.
Toilet paper. What is the deal with toilet paper?
I
I have no idea.
There's no toilet paper at Walmart. I was there and there was no toilet paper at Walmart. And I went up to the service desk and I asked what toilet paper. And I just got this eye roll. It's like, no, there's no toilet paper. And then that walk back to the bathroom with my pants around my ankles was a really long walk.
Oh,
I was
It was worth
in,
the
I
punchline.
was walking in Target a few days ago, and this guy was first thing in the morning, and this guy was walking towards the registers, and he had this package of toilet paper, and he was jokingly clutching it. You know, he had like a big grin on his face. I mean, we were like laughing. You know, it was kind of funny. But I walked back there, and there was a bunch of disinfectant wipes that had been stocked. I couldn't believe it. I felt like I had found gold or something. You know, it was it's just crazy. You know but it was I thought it was funny. The guy, you know, he had that clutching it, and he was just like just kind of had this funny grin on his face. And I was like, yeah, okay, good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a world where infected people are roaming the streets, and toilet paper is the new commodity.
Yeah. This is
Right.
currency. Yeah.
Right.
This isn't real.
Yeah, it is surreal. Absolutely, this run on toilet paper is completely surreal. It's pointless.
Exactly. I saw early CDC guidelines that said make sure you have toilet paper, right? I mean, if you can't get out often. And people just took that and said, I've got to stock up. I don't know why.
Yeah.
My wife went to Costco about a week ago now, and she went to get there early in the morning, you know, just before anybody else shows up. And no, there's already lines that are already back to the freezer section for checkout, and another equally long line for toilet paper. It was empty, but a truck had just arrived. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So we have I was going to say we have a Fatas from GSM times 2 here, and he's asking, what are people doing at home related to geocaching? That's a good question. So I guess Rock Chalk, you're working at it.
Well, I will tell you, keep an eye out on the blog tomorrow. We've got something coming out with some suggestions for people who are at home and still want to stay engaged with things. Some things that I had a lot of ideas. What we did was kind of ask some of the reviewing community had some ideas, and then we opened up a document at the office and asked some lackeys to put some ideas in, and came up with a lot of stuff I hadn't thought about. And I thought, oh, that'll be helpful. So originally we were thinking, let's just do one blog post, and we realized, gosh, there's enough here for multiple. So we'll try to stretch it out a little bit. But for me personally, I've been trying to curate my list a little bit. They'd gotten a little out of control. And so I'm trying to go through and, you know, I'll kind of go through and realize, God, why do I still have that list from a trip that was like a year and a half ago that everything's logged and everything's done. So I'm trying to clear some of that stuff out. And I guess, like a lot of people, kind of having some dreaming of future trips and kind of trying to do some targeting for the future, and things that I maybe hope to do in April or May that are going to get pushed off, and it'll just give me more time to plan it, which is probably good, because I have a bad habit of like letting trips sneak up on me. And then I'll be literally like 2 days before the trip, and I'll be, God, I still don't have my list put together. I still don't have I know where I'm going. I have my tickets. I have my hotels booked, but I might want to go ahead and figure out exactly which caches I'm going after. And I wait way too long. And so maybe I'll use this time as an opportunity to actually get some firm plans in mind for the future.
Nice.
Well, our very talkative live chat here has so many ideas of what they're doing. MC3 Cats and Highland Guy are both solving puzzles.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Subway Mark is working on his adventure lab.
Awesome.
Geo Travelers are planning new cache hides. UDAC is watching geocaching podcasts.
Very cool.
GSM times 2 is making Where I Go caches.
Awesome.
Dano's doing urban caches and encrypted messages.
Ooh.
Keats is working on a geocache profile. He did 2 adventure labs in Vancouver. The weather's been fantastic, so he's kept the rain at bay.
Yeah, we've had a really nice stretch of weather for sure. So that definitely helps.
Let's see. Patrick's been building caches for our next mega event.
Awesome.
Just finding our way is designing more gadgets.
Cool.
Forest Ghost is creating Where I Goes and geocaching video games for a geo art.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. Very cool.
I think this is Boomer 365. Is a continuing his caching streak. I guess I'm not doing that at home.
Yeah. Not unless he has friends like you guys.
That's right.
That wasn't home. That was
It was a hospital, but still.
Oh, Mrs. Landsharks is figuring out what challenges they've met.
Very cool.
Let's see, GSM times 2 received his FTF Geocacher magazine today.
there you go.
That.
Oh, Alpines. Grab the next one down
There you go. Alpines is trying to complete a cache for the Fraser Valley Cache Bash.
Yes, Fraser, not Fraser. You keep doing that.
You know, I've got it right here too. I know what it is. Fraser. Yeah, you can...
Not the psychiatrist from Seattle.
Okay. I'm gonna get it.
No, you're not. You're gonna keep doing that right until August 22nd.
And then suddenly it'll just click.
August 23rd, you'll get it. Yeah.
Oh, On a Boat says geocaching podcasts have helped fill the void, plus getting out and finding caches.
Nice.
MC3 Cats is planning geo trips with my favorite Italian caching website. That's a cache-a-turn, though.
Oh.
Cachetour.no.
There you go.
Yes, I know. I said it. I'm embarrassed.
RCA77 says he's running out of things to click buttons on when he's using the geocaching.com website. Oh, dear.
Oh, hey, maybe I'll get it in 2021.
Yeah, maybe. Genies had a comment earlier that I wanted to share. It's for you, Rock Chalk. He says, thanks for being on the various podcasts. I would love for lackeys to have a button or something on their shirts that says, I was on X podcast. So it'd be easy to identify them at events. That's interesting.
You know, that's so much easier than a blazer.
I was going to say, I mean, you guys wouldn't even set me up with a bandana. I don't know where you're going to come up with a button. I mean,
how about a sticker and some Sharpies?
And you guys are some of the more well-heeled podcasters, aren't you? Yeah, I don't know.
Well-heeled as in behaved? I don't think so.
Daryl over at Geo Gearheads, you know, your partner, Chris, he could never come up with a button either. So I don't know who could. I don't know. It's an interesting idea. It's fun. It actually reminds me when I was at a mega in Australia in November. I was talking to some people and somebody came over to me and said, "Are you the one that does the Inside Geocaching HQ podcast?" I said, "Yeah, I am." How did you know that? And he said, "Oh, I heard your voice from over there." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is so cool!"
Isn't that yeah?
Yeah, it is a lot of fun when you meet people at megas that know you from Caching in the Northwest or Geo Gearheads or Podcacher or Geocache Talk, any of them. I mean that have had a chance to listen and. So yeah, I think a button or something would be a neat idea. I'm not sure how we would execute it, but we can keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That's
now,
very
has
cool.
anybody come up to you and say, you look different than you sound?
They always say I'm much more handsome than they imagined.
I never hear that.
And I'm like, okay, well and they all follow that up with, don't get me wrong, I thought you would be really good looking, but now that I see you, I'm just kind of blown away by what I'm seeing, and I'm always flattered. And
thanks, Rock Chalk. We have to end the show.
I give them an elbow bump, and we go our separate ways.
Rachel just rolls her eyes, says, "Please, people, I have to live with him."
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Oh, nice.
Great suggestion, though, Genies. Thank you. All right. What else we got?
Colleen Smith says, Land Monkey book?
Yes, it's coming. It's coming. We're in the final edits. It will be published by the end of this month.
What's it about?
It is the geocachers tour guide to Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley.
The Fraser Valley.
Hmm.
So it's about geocaching.
It's a guidebook for
I wouldn't have expected you to write about geocaching. I was
I know,
expecting
crazy, right?
cooking or
Yeah.
Baking stolen.
gardening or any number of topics that you're going to go with geocaching.
Yeah, I just figured, for my first book, we'll try that. And it's designed to be actually for geocachers and their muggles. So it highlights a lot of different things to do and see, and pro tips for how to get around Metro Vancouver area. So yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Now his next one is going to be about baking.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Baking stolen with Land Monkey.
Yeah.
That was one of the suggestions that somebody came up with for stuff to do if you're stuck at home is baking like geocaching cookies or a geocaching cake or any number of different. So maybe you could do a book about that.
There you go. That's awesome.
It'd be like a Canadian version. You could come up with Canadian takes on geocaching foods.
Nanaimo bars.
And as I understand it, now let's get this settled now, Jay.
Okay.
Now that we have a record and we have witnesses, you posted a photograph
Yes.
of a platter of those things, right?
That Helen baked. Yes.
That Helen baked. Those were Helen's. That
Yes.
wasn't like stock photography. That was an actual
Helen baked
thing
those.
that Helen baked.
Yes.
And you said something about free lunch if you ordered a certain level of from GeoWoodstock, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I asked if I could just have those bars. Like, I just want a plate of those.
For the meal.
Because my fear is you're going to give me like a ham and cheese sandwich and a bag of chips and like half of one of those bars. And I'm concerned about that because what hooked me was the platter of bars.
Right.
So what level do I need to go to get the platter of bars is what I'm asking. And it sounds like Helen might be in the chat. Maybe she can answer this question
I'll tell
once
you
and for all.
I'll tell you what.
Platinum VIP level.
This is an exclusive offer that is only for you, Rock Chalk.
Okay, I'm listening.
We will set you up with an appropriate amount of Nanaimo bars, special just for you.
You see what he did there?
Wow.
He said appropriate level.
Yeah.
He's leaving it very vague, and that's just the kind of
loophole.
thing a land monkey would do is leave it vague.
Yeah.
He's going to get me to buy this crazy super duper platinum level. I'm thinking I'm getting and I'm going to get there and there's going to be like a 3/4 of a bar and he's going to say, isn't that an appropriate?
Yeah. With a bite taken out of it.
Dude, I will make sure you get a plate full of Nanaimo bars, Chris, but this is exclusive special just for Rock Chalk. So I don't want everybody else getting crazy thinking they can also get in on Rock Chalk's plate of Nanaimo bars, because you're going to have to fight him for his Nanaimo bars. I'll tell you that right now.
Let's make one thing clear right now. If this happens with this plate of bars, they're all for me. Mrs. Rock Chalk isn't getting any of them.
Oh, wow.
No one is getting any of them. There will be social distancing practiced when I get these bars.
Give me a Nanaimo bar or I'll shake your hand.
And I see Helen says they have them on Fridays. I will come up there on a Friday sometime just to have one of those. And wouldn't that be terrible if I went all the way? I took the ferry over, I drove to the shop, and I showed up and I got there on a Friday when there wasn't any.
Wow. It sounds like something you're going to have to plan ahead a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Those looked really good, though.
We need to know what the dimensions of the Rock Chalk plate are.
Oh,
that's a good question.
How did we all of a sudden get a bunch of lawyers on this show?
I will send those dimensions to the proper people.
I bet you will.
These are all important details.
Oh my goodness. There you go. Hey, Helen has offered to bake them together with
Yeah,
you, Rock
there
Chalk.
you
There
go.
you go.
Look, I love Helen, and I love hanging out with Helen. Ultimately, I just want to eat the bars. I mean, let's just
It's not about the social aspect.
the pleasantries. Those are all fine, but the sooner we can get to the bars, that's my I'm trying to make my. I don't want there to be any misunderstandings about my intentions here. I want a platter of those bars. I mean, the picture was. I hope everybody in the chat has seen the picture, because maybe Helen, maybe you guys can. It was a really nice looking picture. I truly did think it was like something you guys just lifted off of a website or something. I had no idea it was an actual picture of bars that were baked by a member of the organizing committee. So,
hey, we don't screw around up here, man. This is going to be a seriously awesome GeoWoodstock. So
I'm going to cut that. I'm going to print that picture out and just put it up on my mirror or something, so I can just, visualize.
You should make it your icon in your chat at work.
That's a great idea. That's the best idea you've had all night, Jay. And I'm writing that down.
It only took me an hour and a half to come up with my best idea. That's pretty good.
Oh my God.
It did. Well, you saved the best for last, and I appreciate it.
Oh, too funny.
Oh, that is too much. Did
Are
you know,
bars like that eligible to cross the border during this time period? I mean, maybe
nobody's eligible to cross the border right now.
Oh, yes.
There's the picture.
Look at those.
That's not an appropriate amount.
Oh my gosh. Those look amazing.
Well, I didn't get to sample those ones myself either, but I have had
Wow.
very similar to
That's at the shop, isn't it?
That's in the shop.
That picture, I recognize that counter.
There you go.
Those weren't there when I was at the shop.
Yeah, Geo Travelers took that photo. Helen did the baking. It's a team effort.
Oh my
I
gosh.
posted it all just to torment you, Chris.
You guys know how to lure me up across the border. That's for sure. That's for sure.
I found out a couple of shows ago how much baking goes on during this podcast. We had 3 or 4 people baking, a couple of people cooking. It was just amazing. I had no idea people were doing that during the podcast.
Absolutely.
While listening. So
that's cool. We've got cool listeners. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Well, my friends, I think we've exhausted the Nanaimo bar topic for now.
If you
Or
say
have
so.
we? Is there more?
Yeah.
the hook is set.
Yeah.
Slowly reeling him in. Alan Richards is making a birthday cake tonight.
Awesome.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah, there's nothing like that at my house. Cakes and bars and we have nothing like that. So guess I'll just have to go to Canada. Apparently, Mrs. Rock Chalk is not delivering the bars like is happening up in Victoria.
Yeah.
There you go, my friend.
Yeah, the border's closed, so you can't get the Nanaimo bars across the border right now.
Soon enough. There you go.
Could you go to that park that we had the event at and just hand the bars across the border?
Nope.
We're not actually going to cross the border.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, before we go, and now that our show's over, if you want something else to watch on YouTube, Mark Rober, who's the guy that did the glitter bomb porch pirate package thing, put out a great video. While we're on the subject, just put a link in the chat in the Q&A there, all about how to wash your hands and how important it is and how germs spread. He did a bunch of stuff with UV light and stuff. Really kind of interesting and typical of Mark Rober. The production value is very, very good. So take a look at that. Wash your hands and stay healthy, people.
Absolutely. And thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope you have a great weekend ahead, whatever it is that you're going to be up to. Stay safe. As Wits End said, wash your hands, do all the right things. And Rock Chalk, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had a really fun time with you tonight.
It was a lot of fun for me. And again, all my best to you guys and everybody in the chat.
Folks, thank you so much. And until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.